Hi, I'm the Pudding Stone, and this is how to create your own entity in Minecraft using no mods. This tutorial is going to assume you already know and understand how to make your own Datapack. If you do not, I'm going to redirect you to this tutorial by Legitimus. I highly recommend you watch this video and then come back and watch this one. This video will be split in 5 parts. The basic rules, getting an idea, doing the research, modeling and spawning, and lastly, functionality. If you pull up your timeline, there will be chapters below, so if you want to skip to some part, go ahead. But before we begin, hey, did you know, according to YouTube statistics, you're not subscribed, and that's cringe. If you wanna help me reach my goal of taking over the world, 10,000 subscribers, you should subscribe. I make videos about Minecraft, SCP, TF2, eventually I'll do TF2. I also have a Twitch that I stream other games on sometimes, and a Twitter where I never post. So follow these too if you'd like. Back to the video. Basic rules. Rule 1. Go easy on the selectors. Since you're working with an entity, you're gonna want to run commands as that entity. And to run commands as an entity, you wanna be using the execute as command. The way it works is it runs the desired command as if it is run by the entity specified after the as. For example, if I run execute as all entities of type armor stand, run say I'm an armor stand, all the armor stands in the world would say, I am an armor stand. There's also execute at if your command requires a location, but generally you can just do execute as selector at s. However, in a bigger data pack, you will have your entity running a lot of commands. But these selectors, especially the at e one, cause a lot of lag. Because your game checks through every single entity in your world, having too many of them in your take function is not something you should do. What you want to be doing is creating functions to be run by your entity using just one selector. For example, if I want this armor stand to spawn a pig, and then say, I spawn the pig, I can minimize my selectors by having a function called spawn pig that runs the commands summon pig and say I just summon a pig, and then run the command execute as my armor stand at itself, run function example spawn pig, and tada! My armor stand just ran 2 commands on one selector. Rule 2. Don't use too many cubes. Similarly to selectors, models with too many cubes cause lag. That's why in my Datapacks I make my models pretty simple and Minecrafty, if that makes sense. For example, SCP-106 is just a regular player model with 1 or 2 extra cubes for his jacket. There's nothing wrong with adding cubes for detail, just don't add too many, especially if you plan on animating your model. Rule number 3. Survival friendly. Okay, maybe you're looking to make the most overpowered monster ever that no one is ever going to beat and should only hide from. If so, sure, go ahead, but if not, your entity should have some sort of purpose. Maybe some niche quality of life change, or maybe something so big that people are automatically gonna want to find your entity just for the benefits. But no matter what, you should never, and I mean never, make another polar bear. Who in the world sees a polar bear and thinks, yes, I finally found a polar bear? No one. That's true. Getting an idea. Before you even start modeling, animating and coding your mob in Minecraft, you need to have a good idea of what you want to make. When I make my Datapacks, I have the luxury of stealing ideas from one of the largest idea banks on the internet. Wink wink. See, my character doesn't have eyes, so I had to audibly say wink wink. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to do something on my own. I will be making an underwater mob, the Pirate Captain. I want him to spawn in the ocean ruins alongside the drowned, and he will drop some gems and gold with a slight chance of dropping his captain's sword, which will be a special item with its own abilities. I will explain how to make custom items in this tutorial, however, so for now, it's just gonna be an iron sword with a few enchantments. Doing the research. When doing research for the Datapack, I spend a lot of time testing things in-game or reading the Minecraft wiki. One thing people seem to get wrong in the comments is how I decide the mob that will be the entity's AI. Most people think it's just appearance and looks, but most important is functionality. You need a mob that will do most of the things you want your entity to do. Want your mob to be hostile towards players? Try a skeleton without a bow and a button on his head so he doesn't burn during the day. Want a mob that is friendly and is just chilling? Try some animal, like a sheep. Although, it will follow wheat, so if you want something different, try another animal. Do you want to be able to control who this mob hunts down? Well, you know which mob I'm gonna recommend then, don't you? For my mob, the best option will obviously be the drowned. I don't think I should explain why. So let's move on to modeling and spawning. If you want to model for Minecraft, I highly recommend Block Pinch, and for animation, the animated Java plugin. I'm pretty sure you can somehow do it with other 3D modeling software like Blender, but I'm not sure on how to. Plus, why go through the extra work when Blockbench was literally made for this? Anyway, this is not a Blockbench or animated Java tutorial, so I won't spend too much time here. Here is my super cool and awesome model. How do I spawn it in game? Usually I like to have a function called summon. In this function, first I will summon the mob that holds the AI, in this case the drone, with a custom tag so I'm able to track it easily, and a custom name so that the death message doesn't say you died to a boring old drowned. Then I make it invisible and summon an armor stand which is invulnerable, invisible, and has the same tag. Then I change some attributes to my desired values, then I summon another armor stand with a different tag to find the direction to which my entity is facing. And finally, I spawn my model. If your model is static instead of animated, you don't really need the facing direction armor stand, and you can just instead have it as a remodel item in the main armor stand's head. And finally, in my take function, I will have to make the armor stands teleport in the proper location using these commands right here. And now if I summon my mob, here it is. We're almost done. Let's move on to functionality. Now the way you wanna add extra functionality to your mob depends on what mob you're actually making. But for now, I'm just gonna show you how I make them spawn randomly in worlds without the use of commands. Minecraft already spawns drowned in the world on its own, but it doesn't really allow for us to modify those rounds. It will only spawn regular mobs, not the ones we created. So to fix that, we will have a function called spawn RNG. In this function, every drown will try to spawn our pirate captain. So how do we do this? In our function, we will find every drown in the world that doesn't have a specific tag. For this example, let's call it tried spawn. And then we will make it run the spawn RNG function. You can use different mobs to run the function if you want different spawning conditions. For example, if you want to spawn in caves or in the dark, you could use a zombie. The spawn RNG function will run a random chance predicate. Here's the predicate, by the way. Simply change the chance to whatever you want it to be. 1 means 100%, 0.95 means 95%, and so on. And then, if this predicate returns true, it will run our initial summon function. And finally, the drone will give itself the tried spawn tag so that it doesn't run the command again and lag the game with a billion pirate captains. And there we go, now we have a fully custom animated mob that spawns around the world randomly. So there it is, that's the tutorial, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, I will try to answer as many as I can. Hopefully you can all create some amazing custom mobs. If you want more guides or tutorials on creating Datapacks, drop a like, and if you want more content like this, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.